It's wALT. We are backstage at Martyrs with another beer with the band in the Two Brothers Green Room. I am with Max and Kenny from Fitness. Guys, I am so thrilled to finally be in a room with you guys because I've known both of you for a long time.
We are thrilled to be here.
It's so exciting. Max, of course, you singer for Eve 6, and we met way back in the day. I mean, you couldn't even get into the I remember playing a radio festival with you guys. I think it was Indianapolis, and you couldn't even get into the bar where everybody was hanging to drink.
There were many. When we were doing clubs, we had to wait outside with all of our gear until set time, and then load in and play, and then promptly leave again.
That's crazy. And Kenny, of course, hanging out with you in the AWOL days.
Yes, sir.
Yep. But now you guys are Fitness. How did you two hook up? What was the impetus to get you guys together?
Kenny and I met in 2012 at a radio festival that we can never remember. It was somewhere in upstate New York. He swears Syracuse, I swear Buffalo. He's probably right. I said Salt Lake?
Once you said that.
Well, no, okay. It was somewhere in upstate New York. Salt Lake was shortly after that. But Kenny was wearing an Old Dirty Bastard shirt that I happened to have. We were passing each other backstage, and I said, "Oh, I have that shirt." And Kenny, Kenny being Kenny, was just like, "Oh man, oh that's cool, man. How's it going? My name's Kenny. I'm in AWOL Nation. Public Enemy's about to go on. Want to go watch them?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure, let's go watch them." And so it was a very hip hop centric meeting. We watched Public Enemy and just got along well, exchanged numbers, both LA guys. And when we both got off of our respective runs, we hooked up and did some songwriting production stuff for other artists and worked like that kind of on and off for, I guess it would have been a few years, like 4 years or something. And Kenny just told me one day, he was like, "Man, I got to do my own thing. I need a way to exercise my creativity that's unhindered by any kind of boss elements," and I could relate to that, and I was like, "Yeah, I hear you." And he started making tracks and played me the track that would be "Get Dead," which was the first song that we did together, and I was just blown away by it and implored him to let me do my thing on top of it. So we were initially maybe gonna put stuff up on SoundCloud, maybe not. It really was just an exercise in us following our whimsy and doing something.
Did you guys play any live shows during this time?
No, we didn't until a little while later. But once we collaborated on Get Dead, we just had so much fun doing it that started to beget more. And we were both, actually, he was touring a lot of the time, so he was sending me tracks, and I was putting lyric and melody on them, sending them back to him. He'd work on them, and we worked like that.
Technology, it's amazing these days. You don't have to be
crazy.
in the same room. Yeah,
it's nuts. So we worked like that for a bit. He parted ways with AWOL Nation, how long ago now? 2 years ago or so?
Yeah, almost 2 years.
And that's when we kind of went sort of, this became our primary
focus.
And yeah, we just have too much fun for it not to be, I'm
curious because you mentioned you were both doing production and writing for other people. Is that weird? Because I've never actually done that myself.
Yeah.
But it's got to be kind of weird to birth babies and then hand them off. That's kind of what it is, right?
The short answer is yes, it's definitely weird. I think we still do a lot of that, and we sort of have gotten to a place where we say yes to stuff that sounds exciting or interesting, and no to stuff that doesn't, basically. And so we work with a lot of cool alternative bands and indie rock bands, and that's been cool. But it's definitely, it's like a compartmentalized thing for
right.
sure. It's very different than writing a fitness song,
right?
Definitely.
So now you started doing things in my opinion, kind of a DIY kind of way, because you were reaching out to me a year ago, going, "Here, check this track out. What do you think?" And it's just like, was that a plan to just try to like build support within the people that you kind of already knew in the business?
Yeah, it kind of was. I mean, we hired a little indie radio promo company a couple years ago, and they were cool and stuff, but we sort of realized, like, we have a lot of, like, friends who are still at radio, people we know. There's goodwill out there for us, having been, nice guys in bands that have been around for a minute, if I may be so presumptuous as to extol our own virtues. But we found that was the case. So like we would send music to people and we got a positive reception.
Sure.
So we kept doing more of that, and at the risk of maybe being bothersome, but at the same time we were like, we love this. We love what we're doing. So, it's like
I think it's amazing. I think it works because you get people invested early, and then being able to follow you guys as the progression as you went through the songs that would become your first EP.
Yeah.
And then now you have the fruits of all of those labors.
Yeah.
Your debut album Karate is out just now a few weeks. How does it feel to finally have birthed this full-length album, to get these songs out?
It feels very, very good. Yeah. We did a full-length album against all, sensible counsel from managers and everyone else who said, people's attention spans are too short for that these days. But
right.
Kenny and I work every day when we're not doing stuff with other artists. We're working on fitness, and we amassed quite a little collection of songs, so much so that we called the album Done a few months before it came out, and the final track listing ended up being quite different
really?
From that. So yeah.
Different songs?
Yeah, different songs. We don't so much go back and do surgery on existing songs, although we have a couple times, but not really successfully. Usually when we do that, we're like, oh, not, but like we're always writing new stuff. Fitness songs always start with his track, which is also very different from the way that I've worked in the past, coming from a traditional guitar rock band, which is really refreshing to me. It's like, okay, here's the blueprint. Do what feels, you have, a finite amount of sort of options, at least when it comes to chords. The chord progression's there, so let's make something as interesting as possible over that set blueprint.
I think the combination though works really, really well. Very melodic and great programming with pop sensibilities that don't detract from one another.
Yeah.
You don't sound like you're living in different worlds, but I can definitely hear both of your influences. Some songs more than others. So how does that work? Because like songs like the first single, Matter of Time, is kind of different than like some of the first few tracks.
Yeah,
on the
it's funny. It sounds like that would have been a song that was written on guitar in a bedroom, but that was Kenny's track.
Really?
So he had all of those chord changes. I mean, I say track sort of loosely, but because it's a pretty spare track, but he had all the changes written and the lead guitar part and everything. So he writes that way. He sort of has this intuitive sense of what chord structure should come next. I've never been that way. I was always dictated by like lyric melody. So, but it just works. It's like the way he sets up chord progressions. Lends
a lot of the way we wrote in Stabbing Westward was kind of the same way, where I would do a track. I'd send like Save Yourself.
Yeah,
track I wrote, and then I handed it off to Christopher, and he just drove around in his truck and came up with the vocal melody.
Yeah,
for it.
A lot of listening to MP3s on my phone and driving around.
Right. Yeah. And now here you are, supporting the record, touring. How does it feel to be touring again? I mean, like, I guess you've still done some dates with Eve 6, but
but not really touring. It's more kind of what you're doing with Stabbing, kind of one-offs here and there. But man, it's awesome. It's like, Kenny and I have said it before, if we didn't love it, there's no
point in doing it.
Yeah, I mean, we're in a minivan. We're carrying our own gear. We're doing the thing.
I love it.
Yeah,
that's what we are doing. And there's something. God, I feel so connected to the process.
Exactly.
And everything
You
now.
Experience the travel.
Yeah.
You experience the distance and the miles. And there's something to that.
We're selling our own merch. I mean, we're out there physically, taking money and meeting everybody.
Yeah.
It's way more rewarding now than it was when we were in a bus.
There's an ethic to it. I mean, Ian Mackay talked about back, but it's like, it's like, yeah, you sort of, you cherish, the rewards. There's more gratitude when you're kind of hoofing it.
Totally. And you will be back. So if people can't make it to this show tonight, you'll be back next week playing Sub T on the 25th, Wednesday night, with Wild Moccasins. How did that tour come about?
They're awesome. I think they're booked by our booking agency, APA, And yeah, they just had the idea to put us together, and they're a great band and just really sweet people that are nice to be backstage with. So,
well, I'm so psyched for you guys to get this project off the ground. Hopefully, a matter of time just takes off, because I think that song, when you sent it to me, I was just like, holy crap, I think you guys actually have something here.
Wow, thank you. That means a lot.
Great. So I'm thrilled that you're on the show. I can't wait to see you guys play tonight. I'm with Fitness backstage in the Two Brothers Green Room. Another beer with the band on 101 WKQX.